Hello and welcome to the Top Order podcast. Tonight we're joined by one of the newest members of the Black Caps side, someone who's had quite a 12 months in and out of bubbles and MIQs. There's been injuries, international debuts and becoming a part of history. Rachin Ravindra, welcome to the Top Order podcast.
Thanks guys, thanks for having me.
So let's start, basically by just how are you? Because, as we mentioned on the intro, it feels like it's been, definitely from us watching on your progress, it's been quite a year, at least from the outside. Have you kind of managed to process what's happened for you in the past 12 months and, particularly in the cricket life, obviously?
Yeah, it's I guess it's been a pretty cool 12 months. I've been incredibly privileged to be able to represent my country and something that I've obviously worked towards and had a dream since I was a very young kid. But yeah, it's been pretty surreal, I guess, and I guess you don't really get too much time to think about it. But I guess with all the MIQs and the bubbles you do nowadays, and you're able to actually just like reflect on those sort of moments that has gone by. But it has been an incredibly quick 12 months. I don't even know where the year's gone. Yeah. But the amount of cricket I've been involved in has been special, and it's been like I've created a lot of memories, and it's been pretty cool.
Yeah, because let's go back to late last year. I think it's I was trying to look up sort of when you scored that 100 for New Zealand A, and I think it's about 12 months to the day since that time. Did you kind of have any sense then that you were close to the top side?
I guess it was actually been more than a year than like November, but yeah, it's I guess whenever you're part of the New Zealand Day setup, you go have like a little bit of I'm in the second best team or whatever for the Black Caps. But I guess I never really thought about it because it was like, well, I'm trying to do my best, I'm trying to learn, I'm trying to get better and test my skills against international opponents. But like I guess you put those performances up and I guess people start to notice. But like ultimately, I was just trying to do my thing and take it ball by ball as much as I could. And lucky enough, it's ended me in where I am today.
Mate, there's definitely been a bit of a buzz about you over the past few years as a player to watch. We've been sort of taking great interest in your career on the podcast. You've had a couple of campaigns for the New Zealand under-19s. You got that big 100 for New Zealand A. And from everything we've read, it seems like you've been training like a professional for a few years now. Do you hear any of that buzz? We're not that old, but the world's changed a bit since we were 22. What's it like to have your name starting to pop up on social media, on Cricinfo and all those kind of places?
Yeah, it is. I think it is a balancing act. I think especially in the modern world, there's so much social media and there's so much, I guess, can be media scrutiny at times. But like personally, I try to stay off that sort of stuff. I think a lot of the time it can be so up and down. And obviously, I appreciate all the support from everyone. But I think I just try to, I guess, keep my head down and do what I try to do best, like train hard and work on myself. And I guess all that sort of recognition and all the media will come as a result of all that. So, and that's the thing, like you have a couple of failures and then they're on your back, but like you do well and they're your best friends. So that's just the way the industry is. And I think it's, especially in 2021 now, going to 2022, it's sort of the way the world is. So I just try to stay away from all that stuff. And if it happens, cool.
That's a pretty atypical response for a 22-year-old. Sounds like you've got a really, really screwed on head on your shoulders. Look, it has been a year of massive ups for you, but it started with a bit of a down. Sort of late January, you dislocate your shoulder. Looks like you'll need surgery, be out for 9 months. You must have been gutted with the way your year started, but then you've bounced back beautifully since then.
Yeah, it was a pretty harrowing experience at that time, mate. Like I did it, as soon as I did it, I was like, oh my God, so I've had surgery on the same shoulder before. So this was, I think when I was maybe 16 or 17, I've had the same surgery. And I've had like the 4 years that it was like fine, no issues. And then that one day something just happened, which was like extremely disappointing because like I knew like from previous experiences, like since getting the surgery, you do it again. That's like, okay, you have to get it. Like it means it's a re-tear of the original. That means you're out 6 to 9 months. And it was like obviously extremely disappointing. I was like, oh my God, like this, like not necessarily looking ahead of the tours, but I was like, okay, this, like I missed this much cricket for Wellington. I get a whole winter, like I can't improve during this winter. I've just got to get back to square one. I can't hold it back for 4 months and all that sort of stuff was playing on my mind. But I guess I was lucky enough to do a physio initial shower. Wellington physio was really instrumental in my surgery, sort of helped me like go through all that. I was very, very lucky to come out of that sort of thing and being able to go in terms of rehab and take, I guess, a few weeks off, maybe a month and a bit, and get back into the game, which was honestly like amazing because without cricket, it's pretty niggly.
Yeah. That's like such a I guess, a life-changing moment when you get the call to say you're on the tour probably for the UK. Who gave you that call? Can you kind of run us through what happened there?
Yeah, so we had a 4-day in Auckland, and like guys had like asked me like, oh, like, are you in the mix or whatever? I'm like, I have no idea. Like, I'll just see what happens. I'll just leave my phone on. And we were flying actually in the air, like almost like literally taking off, and then I saw my phone ringing. It was Gary Stead.
Nice.
Oh my god, can't actually take this. So I actually had to leave it, and then and I saw the text. Oh, like call me whenever you have a chance. And that was like the most nervy hour plane ride of my life. I was like, oh my god, have I just got like my first sort of selection call up for New Zealand? But it was cool. It was really special. And then like obviously called him back when I touched down in Wellington, and he gave me the good news. But yeah, it was incredible feeling. It was everything you sort of dream of. The coach giving you this sort of news.
Geez, it's I don't think I would have been able to not answer that call. You've done well there.
Yeah, it took all, because I knew like I couldn't like cut out halfway through the flight. Halfway through in the air, that would be a bad look for me. I had to use all mental strength to say no.
I would have been asking for special dispensation from the flight attendant. Like, look, it's New Zealand cricket calling. Can I please take this call on the tarmac?
Please.
As soon as we
Just
land, I'm on the phone.
Yeah, but nah. But it was quite cool because I was like, my parents picked me up from Wellington, so I was able to like call and then just like see them straight away and be like, oh, I'm in the Black Caps, and they were really excited, and Mum was really happy when I got home.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, awesome. That's really cool. And I mean, obviously you didn't get on the field on that tour, but what was the experience like? Because I feel like every time we started seeing Devon Conway around the group, it seemed like he was always perching himself next to Kane, and I always kind of assumed that the two of them are just sitting there talking about the art of batting. And like, is that something you tried to do? Like, are you strategically parking yourself next to someone and picking their brains the whole time?
I wouldn't say strategically, but I think it's just the way it flows. I think that's the thing with this team. Like, it's a bunch of world-class cricketers, and everyone knows so much about the game. So, like, even just like a little chat during a game, or even observing them during training is pretty cool. And even just like seeing how they go about things, the way they prepare, the way they are mentally, like how they get themselves into the zone and stuff like that is pretty cool. And I guess like the environment is amazing for it. They're always happy. Everyone's happy to help, and they're always willing to share information. And I think as a young guy coming into the group was quite cool, like knowing like Ross and Kane and all those guys are so like open and willing to like help, which is amazing.
Yeah, and you guys are obviously pretty close with Devon Conway. It's a nice little, I think it's Crick Info's got an article on you and Devon and the close relationship that you guys have got. Must have been quite special to be there for his 200 on debut.
Oh, it was incredible. Like I've known Dev for the last maybe 4 or 5 years, and he's just like an incredible bloke. Like obviously an amazing player, but he's an even better person. But like that day was amazing for him, and he's worked so hard, and his story is incredible. And this thing I've seen like firsthand of him going through everything, like him first coming to Wellington and him like training so hard and everything. And it was incredibly special to like witness that. And like all props go to him. He's an incredible player and one of the best guys you'd ever sort of have anything to do with. And it's actually a really honor to be one of his close mates.
Oh, I mean, it's cool because I guess sometimes you don't see that from the outside, but you sort of get that impression when you watch Devon as a player. But I guess moving to the World Test Championship final, you went in that squad. Did you guys get to stick around in the UK, or were you back in MIQ by then?
Nah, we left the day before, so we helped out the guys preparing and stuff, training and all that, and then we just came home the day before. So it was quite good watching MIQ. Like, I was jet lagged anyways, so just have it on all night, sleep during the day, and then use it the second week to sort of catch up my sleep schedule. Yeah,
brilliant. So did you stay up all night, watch that final day 6?
Yeah, I watched every day, even the rain day. I couldn't sleep anyways. So.
Because how was that when... I wanted to ask you how it was for you, really, because, I guess for me, someone who's grown up, I'm 37 now, I feel like I've been through some dark days as a New Zealand fan, but you might, do you kind of always remember New Zealand as a good cricket side?
That's the thing, like, since I was about maybe like 13 or whatever, like when you're like at a sound follow, like you follow cricket, maybe like going into college, and you're like, that's the thing, like all the guys in the current team have been my idols growing up, like through that thing. And I like sharing moments, like I've watched like the that World Cup game where Timmy Southey got 7 for at the stadium. There, I was there. I took a day off school to watch that.
Yeah.
Just those little things makes it quite special. And you're right. I obviously love cricket, but you don't really have an understanding of it when you're 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever. You're just oh yeah, these are my favorite players or whatever. But seeing them so successful, obviously through the McCullum era and going to Kane and the work he's done has been amazing. And I guess my memories have been New Zealand being one of the best teams in the world, which is pretty cool.
And then look, a month or two later, you're back out on debut in Bangladesh. Then before being rushed out of Pakistan. How was that experience for you? You made your international debut. You're there with Glenn Pocknell, your Wellington coach, who seems like he's been really instrumental for you behind the scenes, and quite a few others, Wellington guys. There was Ben Sears on the tour, who he's played with for a long time. Yeah, conditions were really challenging. Can you kind of run us through what that tour was like?
Yeah, it was. Those conditions were completely foreign. We've never seen anything like it, and we're obviously we're watching the Aussie scores and only had a little highlights from their series against them. Only a few weeks earlier they were playing them, and it was pretty eye-opening to see what was sort of going on there. And you go there and you see, wow, this is so different. But I think it's an incredible sort of learning experience, and the guys there who the senior players like Tommy and Henry Nichols and all those guys were amazing. Sort of being able to lead and have those conversations. Jazzy was there as well, and he was instrumental in helping me out with the ball. But just those sort of that was a massive learning, because then you can contribute with bat and ball, and on the sort of international stage gives you that sort of confidence. But yeah, it was nice having familiar faces along. Obviously, Tommy Blundell, another one of my really close mates from Wellington. I've played so much cricket with him and had so many conversations about cricket with him. It was cool to have him sort of there, and yeah, Searsy playing cricket with him since I was 5. Yeah. Really familiar faces all around the group, which has made it quite a nice little environment to be in.
And I guess as an all-rounder, and we do classify you as an all-rounder though, because you've got test wickets, you've got test runs, and you're batting in the top 7, obviously. What did you take away from that first tour to Bangladesh? Did you take away more as a batter in terms of having to combat challenging conditions, or did you take away more as a bowler in that, okay, these are conditions that are favourable to my left arm spin. I want to be able to maximise a strength here in terms of my learning on this tour?
I think it was definitely a bit of both. I wanted to learn at every single, obviously win and learn at the same time, and wanted to do that with both bat and ball. And hopefully that's sort of a blueprint of how it's going to go in the future. I think I want to obviously do both, hopefully to a high level in the future. But it was good. A lot of learnings were batting based, I guess, because it was so different. Bowling was probably just my length. It was all about my length. If my length was consistent and key, it was going to turn anyways. And that means they can't hit me down the ground and whatever. So it makes it a lot harder for them if it's turning and holding. But batting was just, there was so many options that I would probably use over there that you wouldn't even think of in New Zealand. Whereas over there, sweeping, reverse sweeping, going at run a ball against spin is a win. In New Zealand, and especially small boundaries, flat wickets, run a ball against spin. That's ridiculous. Come on, we've got to take them down, sort of thing, But it's just really opened to my eyes about what angles I can hit, what gaps can I hit, what ball I can actually manipulate in different areas, which was pretty cool for in terms of skill set thing.
Yeah, that's really interesting to hear you talk like that, because, yeah, when we're watching the games, there was a lot of chat about, are they actually learning anything? Because these pitches are just so different. They're never going to have to encounter this kind of stuff again, particularly not in a T20 game. Maybe those tests in India were, had some similarities in terms of, trying to block out that game and stuff. But, yeah, so you say there is a lot that you can learn from those experiences?
I completely agree. There's definitely heaps, because although you might not come against that same sort of wicket, it means on a wicket not as, maybe it still holds, but you play and you work out your options on a wicket like that's so extreme. When you come to one that's kind of in the middle, you're well, I've done it on a harder wicket, I know, and you click straight away, okay, this is what I need to do, and then hopefully your plan sort of aligns with the game, and it makes it a lot easier rather than being I guess being flat wickets all the time, and then you go to one that's a bit holdy, but turning a bit, and then you're kind of stuck. Whereas you'd rather have the other way, get thrown in the deep end, have that little sort of challenging few games and learn from that, and then hopefully when you go something in the middle, it's a bit easier.
Interesting. And then, we just mentioned India. When did you get the call up to find out that you were going to be in that Test 11?
So it was kind of during I got called into the Bangladesh. They was like, look, like we're looking at you for this India tour as well. Is it okay? Because we'd like go home and then go away and stuff. And I was like, yeah, well, like please, that would be amazing. But then I got the confirmation after I sort of came back and was like guaranteed. But yeah, it was like again like a surreal feeling because I watched so much cricket in India growing up. Like it's perfect time. Like you watch the Test matches and you're like, this is amazing. Like I'd love to play against these guys like Ashwin, Jadeja, etc. Like you build those sort of like moments in your head and you're like, wow, this is. And then you go to the ground, you're like, oh my god, this is where this happened, which is quite cool.
And obviously, you got your cap on the ground on the beginning of the first day of the test. What was that like? Who gave you the cap? Can you walk us through the cap ceremony? And another question that's come from our chief researcher here: are there other initiation or ceremonies involved with a debutant making their debut in the New Zealand side? Do you have to give a speech about economic development in the Western world, or sing a song, or showcase a hidden skill, anything like that, or is it just sort of straight up and down? Here's your cap and a little bit of a speech from a past player and away you go?
Nah, it's it's generally just like here's your cap sort of. So like essentially the day before where it's like a guest speaker and then they speak and then they hand the caps to everyone. So it happens before each test. So whether it's someone who's been associated with the New Zealand team, which makes every sort of test match pretty special. And then like it was quite cool because like debut, like everyone gives you like a standing ovation and that was just like a big like, oh, like we're on here. Next day like I'm playing, which is quite cool. And I was lucky enough to get my cap by Tommy Blundell, and like I said before, an incredibly close friend, and it meant the world to me. And knowing that he gave me my cap, and that's like a memory I'll never ever forget. And like he's an absolute role model for me. So it was pretty cool to get that from him. But nah, there are no other sort of initiations. I remember like back in school we'd have that day like we had to like sing with headphones on and stuff. Those were the days. But no, nothing like that here.
And obviously a pretty unique tour going on tour to India. And traditionally it's been very much you're either in the hotel and you don't experience much, or you're out there in the culture and experience as much as you can. How much did you get to experience of being in India on that tour? Or was it sort of strict bubble life, hotel to hotel, hotel to ground, that kind of environment?
It was, like you said, it was still kind of strict sort of bubble life and stuff, but you still could see like the passion the Indians have and the fandom they have over cricketers was crazy. Like even the T20 series, I ended up being like involved in those games and being like the crowds were incredible. Like Eden Gardens was amazing. Like the packed out crowds, the noise, the fans, like the way they see cricket and cricketers, they see them as gods, and it's crazy. Like especially the Indian team, it's crazy to experience that. And even like guys at the hotel, every time they'd want like they well played, well done, man. Like they know exactly what's happened. They watched every ball, and like every time you go to the ground, there's like thousands of people there. And outside your hotel, you open your window and there's like curtains. There's thousands of people there, just like waiting for like one glimpse, which makes the experience. Although like you can't leave your hotel, but like it shows you how different India is and how crazy those fans are, which is pretty incredible to see that sort of passion.
Yeah, because have you been there before? Obviously, family from there.
Yeah, I've been there a few times actually, because Dad sort of runs like an India trip for like in terms of like cricket wise, it's for like a number of age groups, and he's done that for a number of years. So it's been cool to go on this trip to experience that.
Can I just touch on that? Because that's a pretty unique thing to be able to have that experience going to India and experiencing Indian conditions. How valuable has that been for you as a cricketer growing up and being able to go and both bat and bowl in those environments and learn your game in terms of not just the New Zealand conditions, swing and seam and movement, but to be able to combat those different set of environments? Does it round out your game more? What's it taught you?
Yeah, I think, well, not necessarily made me like a complete player, but it makes you sort of understand your options better and make you a more rounded player, because like I said before, those conditions are so different, and you pick little things from even what they do. Like they place Lindo so differently over there, and those pitches are so different. So like being able to take those experiences was amazing, and especially being a teenager in New Zealand, you don't get that much cricket. you get like, you play every Saturday, like one day gets rained off and you're like, oh, I haven't batted in 2 weeks, and it's just like, but like you go to India and the way it worked was like, you're there for like 2.5 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, you play like 15 games, 16 games or something like that. And you're just like cricket, which is amazing. You're getting that in July. And like, it's just like, that experience was so invaluable, not just because of the conditions, but just like being able to, the sheer volume of it.
And on that last day of the first test, you're batting for survival for New Zealand, for your country in India in those conditions. How much more confident were you, or how much did you take from those preparations, that prior experience of being in India, to go, no, I got this. Like I'm comfortable in these conditions now, and I know that I can do this job.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was very comfortable, but nah, you definitely do take a lot of confidence from it. I think I'm a big believer in confidence comes from hard work. And I think if you can train hard and put yourself in challenging situations off the field, it makes being in the game a lot easier. So train hard, play easy sort of thing, which is, playing's never easy though. It makes it easier, and it makes it, I guess you can never really simulate like crowd and like all the noise and all the pressure around this match, but you can definitely replicate like what's in front of you, just like the physical wicket and what it's doing. And I think being able to do that by going to India and improvising and training, putting like bar spin mats down and all that sort of stuff has definitely helped and makes you more confidence in your defence, especially like over there. It's I think that last sort of day and the way other guys bat, like Tommy Lath and Youngie bat in that first test showed, like if you have confidence in your defence, like more often than not, you can go well.
Yeah, and look, I mean, after that partnership and obviously the catch, you and Ajaz are kind of bonded in history for life now. I mean, I know you've kind of already talked quite a lot about what it was like to be under that catch and the nerves going through you there. But when did you guys kind of start to think he might do this? Like, were you guys talking about that on the field?
It wasn't really like I guess when he took like, so he was 4 overnight, and then in the morning he'd take like 5 and 6. He went like bang, bang. And we're like, bro, like, we were like kind of joking around, like, get 10, man. Like, you know, like, let's go, Jazzy. Like, you take all of them. And all of a sudden, it was like, he took 7. Oh my God, he's got 8, 9. We're like, it's actually going to happen. And like, that high ball went up. I was like, oh my God, please catch it. I could see everyone like celebrating and like in the corner of my eyes. And I was like, oh, this is still a high catch, guys. Like, don't get too crazy. But nah, Jazzy, like, he deserves every sort of bit. Like, I've known him for a while, like a long time now, actually. Like, this is my first sort of introduction to professional cricket through like New Zealand Cricket Winter Squad, and he's been there like for me every step of the way. And he's such an incredible bowler, and I can see him do that. It's still like crazy for me to think he took 10 wickets in innings. Just like trying to wrap my head around it. I've only done 3 times, which shows testament to how good that guy is.
Yeah, we still can't get our head around it here. I do have one question though, and we've covered it on the podcast previously. Will Somerville's probably in the top 5 international cricketers in terms of nice guys. Was he kind of deliberately bowling the ball down leg and making sure that he didn't accidentally jag a wicket to take away from Ajaz's 10-foot? What was the strategy down the other end?
Nah, I honestly don't think there was any sort of strategy. I think we probably, Summers did say he's a good, like you said, great man. I think he did mention that after, because he got the 8th wicket and then he actually got 9th and then got the 10th the same over. If he was on 9 after the next over, Summers was like, maybe I have to do that. But no, he's like, everyone's a competitor. We try to do whatever we can, but it turns out Jazzy was just incredible, as he always is.
Yeah, I actually saw some footage floating around after that of when Murali had 9. He got the first 9 in a test match. I don't know if you've seen that, but I think Chaminda Vasa's bowling at the other end. The guy nicks it and no one appeals because they all wanted him to get the last wicket. But someone eventually, I think from cover or something, just shouted out, "Hey!" And the umpire had to give it out, and everyone else was kind of like, "What's going on here?"
But that's the thing. Like, even when Kumble got his 10, I think there was a couple other bowlers at the other end bowling like well outside off, just being like, nah, like it's deny. Like, that's the thing with Jazzy's 10. Like, I'm not trying to compare anything, obviously, but like, no, like there was no such like talk about that. It was just Jazzy just did his thing and he just took 10.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's still crazy to me.
And it is unbelievable. And I mean, you know, I guess what was the next bit of that test match like? Because obviously something historic like that happens. I'm sure you guys are all wanting to kind of celebrate and get soaked up in that moment. But then, look, wickets start tumbling. A few hours later, you guys are back in the field again, and the rest of the test was pretty tough going. Like, did it kind of deflate the moment at all? Or, yeah, how's all of that play out?
Yeah, I think obviously it was a difficult test match in the end. Like and playing India in India is always going to be hard, especially on the sort of wickets, and they're incredible bowlers. They're a world-class team, one of the best in the world. I think like it was like you still got to celebrate those sort of things. Like it was amazing. I don't necessarily think it took away a focus or anything, because like everyone's professional at the end of the day. But I just think we just didn't play as well as we could have. And India played really good, and that's just, I guess, the way cricket crumbles sometimes.
But a nice personal moment for you, I'm sure, when you look back at that scorecard and see Virat Kohli bowled Ravindra.
Yeah, it is nice. He's been the best batter in the world for a long time, and he's an incredible cricketer. But it was cool. Yeah, it was cool to get that sort of wicket. But it was nice to get test wickets. I guess every sort of test wicket you relish, and it was cool to get a few on the last day.
And were you able to have a bit of a yarn with those Indian spinners? Because as you say, just incredible bowlers. I mean, Ashwin, Jadeja in particular have got such a history of just being incredible, particularly in Indian conditions, for so long. Were you able to kind of pick their brains and talk to them about bowling?
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't really have much time to do that, and especially with like COVID, we couldn't really mingle too much. But like, definitely one day I'd love to pick their brains, and especially in Indian conditions, how well they bowl, and it showed. Like Ashwin obviously man of the series, and Jadeja was in that first test, that second innings, it was just ridiculous. Like he had the ball on an absolute dime, and obviously Ajaz Patel has had an incredible start to his career. But like those sort of guys know how to bowl in those conditions. They've done it for years and years. But like one day it would be amazing to talk spin with them.
And who organised that? Rachin Jadeja or Ravi Jadeja, Ajaz Patel photo. Was that Willie, or was that one of the other media crew, or did one of you guys come up with that?
Willie. It was Willie, a bit of other media, but it was actually ended up quite a cool photo.
Oh, it's great! It's gone around social media. It's gold.
Yeah, good.
I just wanted to wrapping up on that tour. You've made your Test debut as number 7 and a spin bowler. Obviously, you bat at the top of the order for Wellington. How do you view yourself as a cricketer? You kind of pop up on the radar and you go well, and everyone starts penciling you into their future lineups in all sorts of different spots. He can open, he can be frontline spinner, he can do this, that, and the other. It seems like he can do everything except keep wickets, and you can probably do that too. And we're all guilty of playing selectors in our living rooms. How do you see your game, and where would you like it to go?
Honestly, like I do whatever the team wants me to do, whatever Gary wants me to do, whatever Kane would want me to do. I'm just trying to be a better cricketer every single day and further my skills with bat, ball, and fielding. I think ultimately, if I can contribute with bat and ball to hopefully winning a lot of trophies with the Black Caps, that would be my, I guess, ideal role. But honestly, I'll bat anywhere and stuff, and I enjoy the batting and I enjoy bowling, but I'll enjoy batting anywhere, to be honest. Any chance to represent the Black Caps is an honour.
Yeah, that's the right answer.
Whatever the team wants me to do.
That's the right answer. In terms of your future, do you see yourself as a 3-format player? Do you see yourself as someone who would like to be a test specialist one day, as maybe an opening bat? Where do you see yourself going in terms of playing those different formats?
I'd love to play all 3 formats. I think obviously Test cricket is amazing, and it's definitely the pinnacle of international cricket. But white balls equally as it can be as more flamboyant and quite, I guess, interesting for a casual fan. But I'd love to play all 3 formats. I love any type of cricket. So I'll keep trying to develop my game in all facets.
And look, it's been great talking to you. We should let you go. But just finally, I guess, what's the next few weeks look like? I mean, obviously, a little might depend on selection for the Bangladesh tests, which you may or may already not know, and we won't let you have to put you on the spot there. But do you get some time off now, or are you straight back into Firebirds training and playing Super Smash on Sunday?
Yeah, I'll probably. Well, we have to do just home isolation for a few days anyway, so I'll probably do that, and then I'll look to get back to playing for Wellington as soon as I can. I love playing for Wellington. I love that group of guys. I love playing at the Basin, and the Super Smash is cool, and being able to share a field with my close mates is pretty special. So hopefully I'll be back to play for Wellington, and I guess from then on we'll see what happens. But if not, then I'll be watching the lads from the bank of the Basin on hopefully a nice sunny day.
Beautiful. Oh, well, look, Rachin, it's been a real pleasure to chat to you, and huge all the best for the rest of the season. It's been great watching your journey so far, and we hope it goes a long way.
Cheers, mate. Thanks heaps, guys. Thanks heaps for having me.